Hi, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. Let me pull your window up here for everybody. All right. John Dell, you're up first, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. We're just curious. You've been doing this head coaching thing for a while. What was maybe the biggest thing, Coach Prosser, maybe advice wise or anything that you've thought about through the years? Because obviously he was a big mentor of yours.
I mean, gosh, I only have 10 minutes here and everybody's got a bunch of questions. I could talk for 2 hours on the impact that Skip Prosser had on me, had on so many of my close friends that I played with at Xavier, so many of my colleagues that coached under him and with him. I don't even know where to start. I just think his quote of never delay gratitude is something that I live my life by and that I convey to our players every single day. And I acknowledge Coach Prosser to our guys constantly when I teaching lessons, both basketball and in life. I always say Coach Prosser used to say this. He had a million one-liners. Um, he was a Renaissance man. He was so interesting. He was so well read. He was so respected. He treated people right. And he was a phenomenal basketball coach as well.
Russ Brown, go ahead, sir. Maybe not. I'm sorry. Who's under the owner tag there? I thought that was Russ. Maybe not. We'll just skip it. All right. Brooks Holton, you're up.
Hey Pat, I know after the game on Saturday, you kind of talking about the practices after the Duke game. You called them a football practice, and I'm just wondering, do you carry any of that over into like the rest of the season? After the guys were able to come out and we saw such an increase in the physicality and the defense, or was that kind of like something that you do after a game like Duke, where you kind of need to make that like an extra point of emphasis?
Yeah, Brooks, it's a fine line. I'm a football practice type guy. That's just who I am. It is a fine line that you have to make sure you get guys to the jump circle. The best ability is availability, and you can't cut off your nose to spite your face. But a grit and a tenacity and a toughness, an edge, a physicality, a mentality of competition and competing is something that we're always going to have. We got exposed last week and that night, you know, and that's unacceptable. So I liked our guys' response a lot, but we're always going to have you. I don't know how many practices you've been to. You're welcome to come to some, but we have an edge about what we do, but we needed to reestablish what the core principle of our deal is, and that's relentless effort, that's grit, that's toughness, and that's tenacity. And thought our guys played well the other night.
CL Brown, go ahead.
Hi Pat, I'm just kind of poking around to see different views on the recent court rulings that have made players eligible that have kind of gotten around the NCAA's initial ruling. I'm curious more from an NCAA side, like what more do you believe can be done? I know Mark Pope suggested that the NCAA tournament could maybe be used, a bid to the tournament could maybe be used as a sword in this. But what do you feel like can be done for the NCAA to kind of rein things back in?
Yeah. I mean, you're catching me a little bit off guard with it. I haven't given them enough thought. All my time and attention and energy goes into my team and the problems that we have and the things that need to be fixed. Obviously, we all know there are problems and things that need to be fixed in our space, in our, in our business, if you will. I don't know, man. I find it hard to come up with something right off the top of my head that the NCAA can do because they're at the mercy of the court and the court rulings, and they're at the mercy of getting sued. Um, so, I don't know. I know I shouldn't say I know because I don't know anything when it comes to this. But if you look at Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA, I mean, there's rules and regulations that are collectively bargained, um, and then that obviously would stand up in a court of law. It's just what we're doing right now seems like it doesn't, and that's a problem. So I don't have answers for you right now.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Sarandon Raboyne, go ahead.
Hi, Pat. It's been 2 weeks or so since Kason Pryor has spent any time on the floor, and I was just wondering, like, is he experiencing setbacks with his knee, or what's been the kind of catalyst for him not seeing as much time?
No, I like Kason's process. Recently you just got to be ready. You have to be ready and you have to stay ready. That goes for every single player on our roster. We all have jobs to do. I do, everybody in our organization, every player, every manager, every GA, and it's all of our jobs to do what we do with everything we got every day and be ready. So that's my expectation for not only Kaysen, but for every single person on our roster. And people say it's up to the coach who plays. I think it's up to the players who plays. Playing time. Your role is developed over time and it's earned, and it's up to everybody. Like I said, you're naming one person. I'm saying everybody needs to be ready when their name's called.
Matt McGavich, go ahead.
Hey, Pat. And for this upcoming game against Notre Dame, what are you looking for out of Michael and Ryan on the defensive end, considering that the Irish get a lot of their scoring efforts done out of the backcourt?
Yeah, I mean, the same expectation that I have for everybody that puts on a Louisville uniform, and that's to be absolutely desperate on every single possession between whistles for that 46.78 seconds, which is the average time between whistles, is to be desperate. You asked for those two guys, but I'm giving you the same answer for everybody. Not only does Notre Dame have good perimeter players, they have good post players, and every single team that we play from here on out has the same thing. So it's being assignment impeccable. It's being relentless with your effort. It's winning battle after battle after battle. I jumped on the call a little bit early today because I had trouble getting on last week. Technology's great till it isn't. And I just, I heard Coach Brownell talking about one of his players. I wasn't even sure who he was talking about. And he just said he just loves how he fights on every ball screen. Everything's a battle. Every off-ball screen, every transition defense, every sprint to transition defense, every on-ball screen, every recovery. It's all a battle, and you have to fight those battles over and over and over and over again. I think the best defenses are the most desperate. I think the best teams are the most desperate. And that's what, we're striving to be, not only every day, but every repetition of every practice and every game.
Hey, I want to give the last question again to Russ Brown. Just take yourself off mute there, Russ.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Thank you. Pat, what have as I said, you're heading down the home stretch kind of in February, like everybody else is. What have you seen out of development of this team? Where do you think you stand? You feel pretty good going into the last half of the ACC season?
I feel great because the last thing that we did was great. I thought we played, and when nothing's perfect. I'm not saying it's great, but I think our practice approach was great last week, which led to a really good performance on the offensive end. I thought we played with tenacity, grit. We played together. We played connected. We shared the ball. So I was pleased coming out of that effort. Now, if you would have asked me, last week at whatever day that was, we played Duke on Monday. If you would have asked me Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I would tell you, no, I don't feel great about where we're at all right now. But I loved our response, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Thank you.
Pat, that's all the time I have for you. Thank you. Appreciate it.